Welcome, everyone. This is Todd Morgan. I'm the CEO of RealEstateAcademy.net. And for many of you, you've been hearing my webinars. You've heard my voice. Some of you might know me pretty well. I've done, obviously, various different webinars throughout the years. And some of you are new to really our world here and maybe don't know us that well. Well, today, the presentation is all me today. I decided that I would unveil to you some really kind of secrets of the trade, so to speak, today, and really just talk to you about different strategies for making money. And one of the best strategies for making money is selling people in mass, selling people 100 at a time, 200 at a time, 500 at a time, 1,000 people at a time in live events. And I have some very special material to share with you today. And I've got some little, I would call it like acceleration points that really allowed me to accelerate my results and take quantum leaps in my life. And I'm going to share some of those with you tonight in terms of how they occurred and what happened. And this is not going to be your traditional presentation. It's going to be a presentation where I'm actually going to go through and kind of unveil the covers back on how we do some of the things here. But with that said, I'm very excited for everyone to be on this call tonight. As you probably know, I have a little ritual that I like to do at the beginning. First of all, I like to congratulate every person that has gone on this call. It is so hard with our time constraints. Many of you have to work. Many of you had to go through a tough day today and had to really hustle back to get on this webinar, and I applaud you. And I remember when I was kind of in your shoes in the sense that when I first got going, I went to seminars and webinars. I still go to seminars and webinars, by the way. But, I went to so many different things, and I spent so much money trying to learn how to make things go in my business. So I can appreciate and applaud your efforts. It's a very small percentage of people who will continue to invest in their education. I like to tell people that all the knowledge that you have can be beneficial to you, but you need to continue to acquire knowledge so all that knowledge that you know can actually come into play. And there's certain pieces of information that you might be missing. And so when you get on these webinars, that your goal is to actually find these missing pieces of information. I do have some incredible content for you today. I think you're going to really appreciate this, and I've got a really awesome, bold promise that I'm going to give right up front, and I'm going to stand by it. I'm going to guarantee you right now, you have never seen a presentation like this before. Okay? This is a very unique presentation. I think you're really going to like it. Okay, before we get started here, though, I want to just say to everyone, please pay attention to this presentation. I know that there's a lot of things could go on during this presentation. Please put up the Do Not Disturb sign. Please focus in on this information because I'm going to show you how to double your money. And I'm going to show you how to double your money with a no-risk scenario, being my partner, being my apprentice, and I'm going to show you how that's going to work. But main thing is focus in on this information because this information can change your life. I know that we always say these kind of things that it can change your life, but it really can. I mean, you can get one or two things out of this presentation tonight, and you can literally go to an aha moment and make thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Okay, so there's a picture of me, and I'm going to show you some of the blueprints with PartTime7Figures.com. Part-Time 7 Figures is a brand that I'm launching, and it's going to be a very exciting brand. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. Now, today, I'm going to unveil to you the strategy on how to double your money. And this is a strategy to double your money every 30 to 90 days, repeated over and over again. And so I'm very excited to show you this. And it's very much a scientific method, if you want to call it that. So here are the 5 promises I want to make to you right up front. First of all, before we get started here, can everyone hear me okay? If you just type in the question box that you can hear me okay. By the way, I am live on this webinar, so I will definitely answer your questions. I'll probably answer them at the end. Okay, everyone's saying yes. I'll probably answer them at the end just to keep it flowing because a lot of times the questions are going to be answered during the presentation, but that shouldn't stop you from asking questions. Go ahead and ask questions along the way here. At the end of the presentation, I will answer them. Okay, so I'm going to show you the ultimate business model. I'm also going to show you how to double your money with live events. So I'm going to show you how to take a money. I mean, this is better than stocks. This is better, quite frankly, this is even better than real estate, because even real estate has risk associated with it, potentially, if depending on what kind of deals you're doing. But this is a pretty low risk scenario. It's the world's greatest business, and there's a reason for that. And I'm going to explain that. I'm going to show you business plans for big returns with very little work or risk. In this case, no work or risk, because I'm going to be doing all the work. And then how to get started today. All right? Hope you're excited about this, because I am. I've been planning on doing this for a while, and the time finally came that we're able to do it. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so a little bit about me. Now, I'm not going to tell you about me to brag. That's not the purpose of this, but I think it is important for you to know that I have a lot of experience in the areas and the things I'm going to tell you today. Okay, I'm the founder of a number of websites on the internet, realestateacademy.net. I also have lots of real estate investments. I also own various other different companies as well. I'm a best-selling speaker. I've taught hundreds of thousands of investors. That's true. I have taught hundreds of thousands of investors. I've done 300-something real estate deals. I'm a leading authority in part-time seven-figure businesses. I'm going to explain to you how I came to decide on the businesses that I'm in and how I got into them. I think it's going to be interesting for you. I've obviously been speaking and on various different radio and TV programs and things like that. So I'm also known as the Webinar King. I've probably done, as I counted back, about 243 webinars. Okay, I started doing webinars before they became in vogue, before they became real popular, about 3 or 4 years ago, actually. Okay, I calculated approximately, this is not an exact science, but $14.3 million in products and services that I've sold over the last few years. Most all of them I have sold without full-time staff. Now, there's other people that I know have sold a whole lot more than that, but they've had big companies, and they've worked with big companies, and, they had 20 employees and stuff. I've done most everything I've done with me, my wife doing a little bit of bookkeeping, and 1 or 2 other people part-time, and occasionally I've had full-time, but mostly part-time resources just working in my business. That's pretty good, isn't it? Okay, because I made the decision that I did not want to have all the headaches of having massive amounts of employees. I experienced that in corporate America, and I didn't like it. And so we're going to talk a little bit about lifestyle design here. It's important that you design your life the way that you want it, and the businesses that you go in, the people you hang out with, the types of things that you learn. They've got to be consistent with where you're trying to go, what you want to do, and so I'm going to share a little bit more about that. But I have shared the stage with many, many different celebrities, famous people, speakers. Some of these people, you might see their pictures, you might know who they are. I've been on the same stage with, either been on the same stage or I've done business with all the people listed on this list, and the list could go on for another 100, probably another 100 people. Kiyosaki, Robert Sheeman, Bill Bartman, Laura Langemeyer, Michael Gerber, who wrote the E-Myth. In fact, I worked with him for a number of months. Harry Dent, David Fagan, the former CEO of Guerrilla Marketing, Greg Reed, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich 2, which is called 3 Feet from Gold. Any rate, long story short is my Rolodex is a who's who of successful people. It's a who's who of people who are shaking, moving and shaking out there. I've also had some really interesting experiences from the stage in seminars and also webinars. I sold 80 properties in 90 minutes once. I sold 232 products in 7 days once. I have sold hundreds of thousands of dollars multiple times in a day or so. Okay, what does that mean to you? Well, what that means to you is that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, and that's not the purpose of what I'm trying to do right here. I just want you to know that I know what I'm talking about when I talk about this kind of material. And so you need to listen to someone who's done it, who's been there. But I want you to know I didn't start out this way, okay? I was kind of just a regular Joe, and I was trapped in corporate America. It's kind of a funny picture, but this kind of really explains the way I was feeling. It was basically I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to trust. I didn't know what to do. I hated my boss. That's kind of mean. He's actually a nice guy. He's actually a religious guy, but he was a jerk. He even admitted that he had a rough personality to get along with. I hated the pressure. I hated the long hours. I hated the emptiness I felt in my gut, trying to please everyone, but not really looking out for myself. And so I knew I wanted to change, right? Well, what happened to me is probably what happened to some of you out there in similar experience. My life changed when I decided to go to a seminar. It was actually a real estate seminar. And I remember it very well because I was working at Pfizer's corporate headquarters, and there was an event down the street, and I picked up a flyer on it. And I remember this well because it was the anniversary of Viagra. And they had Viagra mugs and Viagra balloons. Think about Viagra balloons. It's a little scary. Viagra T-shirts, Viagra hats, and celebrating the birthday of Viagra there. At any rate, I took a really early train from D.C. up to New York that weekend and went to that event. I think I had to get going like about 4 a.m. in the morning. I got there right as the event started, and from those couple days there, my life changed. The reason why my life changed is I realized that there were other ways to make money. There were other ways to provide a living. There were other ways to be successful other than just going to corporate America. And I never really had considered that to that point. Sounds kind of strange, but I'd never really considered that as a viable means. And so then I became an entrepreneur. It wasn't too long after that I became an entrepreneur. And then basically, let's see, how long was it before I quit my job? It was about a year later, a little more than a year later from that conference, probably about 16 months. I quit my job because I had real estate now, and I had ways of making income and things like that. But then I became an entrepreneur. Now, what happens when you become an entrepreneur? Well, it's not as easy as you think, is it? Okay, you've got to deal with a lot of stuff. I had to now deal with billing, strategic plans, lead generation, taxes, legal issues, fulfillment, marketing, sales, administrative issues, customer service. And what happened? Well, over time, I became overwhelmed and stressed out. And I used to always say, man, I really hate my boss. But I came to realize that I replaced one dumb boss for another dumb boss. And if you're not careful, that's what happens. You become the dumb boss that you said you'd never work for that kind of guy, but you become that guy, doing all this stuff, trying to make ends meet, trying to keep all the balls in the air, trying to juggle it all. Okay? Well, I was working like a dog. I had pressure from bills. I was earning, but not saving. So some of you in that same boat, some of you can make a good income, but are you saving a lot of money? Are you building your retirement? So this is what happened to me. And, of course, employees. I had contractors. I had people that worked for me. And that presents its own set of challenges. Getting, people quit. People don't do the job they expect. People ruin things. And they do things that are not legal. All kinds of issues, right? And then the economy shifts. We had to deal with economy shifts, didn't we, back in 2007? We had to deal with a big economy shift, didn't we? And even 2008.